Hi, we're at the IBC 2022 with Andrew from Deity. Hello, Andrew.
What's going on?
I'm fine. What do you have here?
So we have the final production model for the TC-SL1. As a lot of people know, we kind of launched this at NAB. We said this is kind of what we're working on. We got a lot of feedback, and because of a benefit that turned out with some delays in production, we were able to take that time, say, hey, you guys got this feedback. We showed it at Cinegear. They said more feedback to us, and we said we're going to implement a lot of it. So this is the final model. We now have an anti-reflective surface on the actual dry erase surface. So when you write something on here, you're going to be able to see it, and the lights on your set are not going to reflect off. So if the first AC is having to hold it a funny way because of the lighting on the set, no more. It's anti-reflective. It should be a lot easier to see on camera. The brightness now goes all the way off, as well as kind of the brightest mode, so really nice there. We now have metadata implementation, so when I do this, you get metadata implementations. You get 3 custom lines of 8 characters each. If you want to write something like you're doing pickup shots, we're doing for a certain episode, if you're doing episodic work, but you're shooting one scene in the middle of another episode because you need to do some pickups for other things, you could write all that. That way it gets kept in the right folders. It makes it to where it's supposed to go in post. There's a lot of things you can do with that kind of metadata.
How do you actually add this metadata into that from the app?
So the phone app, which has 250 feet of range to the device, because we're using Bluetooth 5, so we're able to get super stable, super long range out of this. And then that also means if this is a master node in our Bluetooth mesh network, when you have these on set, they all talk to each other, and I can actually get all the metadata from these guys back to the phone as well, 250 feet. So things like battery life of all my products can show up on my phone, and I can monitor the status of all my timecode devices on one app. And I can also then enter all that metadata into that same app.
Tell me something. Did nobody ask you to have this as digital, or did all people prefer to actually physically write something?
Because of the way production works, a lot of stuff is customized to the production. You may want to do like a custom thing for your movie with the movie logo, like Jurassic Park. And you see the Jurassic Park logo, and then they have like just a couple of extra lines available, and then, roll and take.
But if this was a screen and you can from the app like write whatever, put the picture or
Sure.
whatever.
So we looked at some technology going into that, things like e-ink. The problem was cost. And at the end of the day, dry erase works, but also it allows for you to customize everything you want to do out there. And then when it comes to things like clapperboard tags, a lot of people will have a tag board on the back ready to go with quick, kind of stuff, and just slap it on the front anyway. They're not even writing on these surfaces much anymore. They're doing like label makers and tabs and all that stuff. So a lot of metadata is getting added to the face of this thing. I've seen it get so crowded, they were doing it up on the clapper itself.
Yeah, I think we have a clapper with everything on the back, like with stickers.
Yeah, all the stickers and tags on the back, you need to rip it off, put it on the front. So we wanted to make it as clean as possible. The stuff that we felt was the most hardcore kind of information that needed to get always put out there. And some things we took away, like MOS, night scene. Well, like we shoot digital now. There should always be some kind of audio being recorded, but also night, just look at the footage. Was it night outside? Yeah, of course, it's dark. Like certain things, they don't need to be had there anymore because we're not doing film processing. So we took a lot of that stuff away. But some people still want it, so there's a lot of open space. And it's just, if you leave it more customizable like that, it's easier. Whereas a firmware kind of system, we would have to develop some kind of app that like you drag things, and like it could get a little complicated real quick.
But can you, from the app, add more information than what you have here?
Not currently. But we are talking to some other companies to see about integrations. We're possibly going to be doing some stuff there. But right now, as it stands, it's 3 lines of customizable text, 8 characters a line. We talked to a lot of professionals, and we really came down to the core of what is really needed. It doesn't have a lot of the super extras that people have thrown out, because when we went back to the people who use these products, they don't really use it. Like originally people threw out the phrase like, well, is this a color chart? And we were like, well, we could make it a color chart. Let's talk to some colorists. So we went to colorists and we said, would you guys ever use this for color grading? And they said, well, no, that gets dirty. it's not accurate anymore.
Actually,
Whereas a
that's
color
true.
chart's getting covered up.
And you actually physically hold it with your hand.
Right.
Problem.
So like all that stuff affects it. So we're like, okay, cool. We're not going to spend money in development on stuff that's not going to work. We want to spend development time working on stuff that makes the job easier for the user. So we explored a whole lot of crazy ideas, and we made sure the ones that made sense to the customers that actively, use these products daily, we wanted to hit their needs.
What's the battery life of this? Probably very low.
Battery life is kind of a unique thing about this kind of product, because if you leave it wide open, that's one terms of battery life. If you leave it closed, that's another kind of battery life. And it's going to be very dramatically different. What we say is you're going to get minimum 35 hours of battery life. And what that means is full brightness on both
Open.
and just left open.
Yeah.
Now, how often do you open it during your set? It's going to be how often do you do takes? How often do you do shooting? If you're doing a 12-hour day, are you opening this every minute for every single take? Or does it take like 5 minutes and you're only opening it once every 10 minutes?
How
Battery
does it
life will
charge?
change.
USB?
USB-C will charge the unit. There's 2 MPF 550 cells underneath. What's really great about that is no more AA batteries. A lot of slates take AA batteries, 4 or 6. At the end, you have to take 4 or 6, either throw all of them on a recharger or you throw them away and have to go get recycled. With the MPFs, we're going to get a lot of cycles out of this, and they're hot swappable. So you could run it on just one while the other one's charging. And let's say the next day, you're like, okay, we're going to swap it all out. I don't have to lose sync to swap out batteries. I just pop one in the B and then I take out the A.
But so you have basically both an inbuilt battery and the NPF, or it's just
MPF.
Just
Well,
NPF?
there's 2 of them.
Oh.
And they're hot swappable, kind of like you see with the camera department.
Ah, okay.
And we also went with MPF because a lot of things like camera AC monitors use MPF batteries. So the camera department is the one that's actually operating the Slate, and we wanted to make sure it's a battery type that they already had chargers for on their cards. So handing this to a cameraman or a first AC, they're going to say thank you, put it on their cart, and they can already start charging those kinds of batteries and help you, the sound person, out.
Yeah. And in terms of it's not. I mean, it is heavier if you put an NPF battery on the back, right? I mean, it's not a problem for the people who actually use it.
No. So weight-wise, it's very balanced.
Ah, okay.
See,
Where's the NPF sitting?
right there.
Oh, it's just okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like a cartridge magazine.
And the USB actually charges it?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
There you go.
That's,
So I'll just dump one out, but I'm still
that's
going.
the small NPF. Oh, that's cool. That's
So there we go. So what's great about this is the fact that we can actually operate these slates, recharge batteries. You're only having to charge one brick and it's bright yellow. So on a film set, it's often very dark. You're going to still find your batteries at the end of the day. No one's stealing your yellow bricks. You're good to go. Okay? We're looking out for you.
On the side, it has on-off, and what are these two?
So on the side, it's actually not on off. That's tail sticks. So we go into up mode, and what I'm going to do, so now we can do tail sticks. So if you miss your slate at the beginning of a take, you need to do it on the tail side. You flip your stick upside down, and you're good to go. And then you spin it, and you're done. The actual on-off switch is on the other side. Here we actually have the power switch behind this door, and that keeps it all nice and tight so that no one can kind of accidentally flick it. And then this wheel on this side actually operates the menu over here. So the full operation of the unit is actually done on this 1-inch OLED display.
That's very cool. Very nice. Do you know well, obviously you know, when this is actually coming to the market?
We're looking at an end of October release.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Very soon.
not that far
Yeah.
away. What's really great is we also were able to maintain
The pricing?
the pricing for like €1,000.
Okay. Well, that's great. Okay. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Yeah, and what's really awesome is, by the way, if you're watching this in the States, we have a North American version that kind of does the faceplate like we do in North America. And then we also have one that meets the BBC standard of slating that's pretty much a staple here in Europe.